The ticking never stops. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It's in my head, in my bones, in the very air I breathe. They say I'm obsessed. Maybe I am. But how can I not be when every tick brings us closer to the next victim, every tock a reminder of our failure? I'm Detective Mara Soto, and the Zodiac case has consumed my life for the past 5 years. 5 years of dead ends, false leads, and sleepless nights. 5 years of staring at ciphers until the symbols dance before my eyes, taunting me with their secrets. Today's like any other day. I'm sitting at my desk, surrounded by case files, coffee cups, and the persistent tick-tock of the old clock on the wall. It's mocking me, I swear. Each second that passes is another second he's out there, free, perhaps planning his next move. The phone rings. It's sharp, jarring, cutting through the monotonous ticking. I answer, my heart racing despite years of conditioning. Detective Soto, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. It's the lab. They found something. A partial fingerprint on one of the old letters. It's not much, they say, but it's more than we've had in decades. I should be excited, but I've learned to temper my hope. How many times have we thought we were close, only to have the trail go cold? I hang up and lean back in my chair, my eyes drawn to the evidence board. Photos of the victims stare back at me. Young, old, men, women. To him, they were just pieces in his twisted game. But to me, they're a constant reminder of why I can't give up. The ticking seems louder now. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It's like a heartbeat, steady and relentless. I close my eyes, and suddenly I'm not in my office anymore. I'm standing at a crime scene, the air thick with a metallic scent of blood. I can hear his laughter, see his shadow just out of reach. I open my eyes, gasping, my hands shaking. These episodes are happening more frequently now. My partner, Jim, says I need to take a break. You're too close to this, Mara, he tells me. But how can I step away when we might be on the verge of a breakthrough? I reach for the bottle of pills in my desk drawer. The doctor prescribed them for anxiety, but they don't help with the ticking. Nothing does. I dry swallow too and turn back to the case files. There's got to be something we've missed, some tiny detail that will blow this whole thing wide open. Hours pass. The ticking continues. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The office empties as my colleagues head home to their families, their normal lives. But I stay. I always stay. As the first rays of dawn start to creep through the blinds, I notice something. It's so small I almost miss it. In one of the old ciphers, there's a symbol that doesn't quite fit. It's slightly off, like a wrong note in a familiar song. My heart races as I pull out other ciphers, comparing them frantically. There it is again, and again. A pattern within the pattern. How did we miss this? How did I miss this? My hands are shaking as I start to decode, the ticking fading into the background for the first time in years. I lose track of time as I work, the world around me fading away. The office comes alive, colleagues arriving for the day shift, but I barely notice. I'm lost in the ciphers, in the revelation that's unfolding before me. Mara, Jim's voice breaks through my concentration. I look up, blinking in the harsh fluorescent light. How long have I been working? You've been here all night again, haven't you? I nod, too excited to feel tired. Jim, I think I've found something. Look at this. I show him my notes, explaining my discovery. His eyes widen as he follows my logic. This could be it, Mara, but we need to be sure. We can't afford another false lead. He's right, of course. We've been down this road before, thinking we had a breakthrough only to hit another dead end. But this feels different. It feels real. We spend the next few days verifying my findings, cross-referencing with old case files, consulting with cryptography experts. The more we dig, the more certain I become. This isn't just a new lead, it's the key to unlocking the entire case. As we work, I can't help but think about the victims. David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, just kids on their first date. Darlene Ferrin, a young mother with her whole life ahead of her. Cecilia Shepard, a student full of promise. Paul Stein, a hard-working cab driver, and all the others we suspect but can't prove. Their faces haunt me, driving me forward even when exhaustion threatens to overwhelm me. On the 4th day, we make the breakthrough we've been waiting for. The partial fingerprint from the lab matches a set in an old military database. We have a name, Robert Hansen, former Navy cryptographer. My heart is pounding as we dig into Hansen's background. Everything fits his age, his skills, his locations during the killings. But it's almost too perfect. After all these years, could it really be this simple? We need to bring him in, I tell Jim. but quietly, if he gets wind that we're onto him. Jim nods, understanding. We've come too far to spook our suspect now. The next 24 hours are a blur of preparation. Surveillance teams are dispatched, warrants are obtained, and a task force is assembled. Through it all, the ticking in my head grows louder, more insistent. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Time is running out. As we gear up for the arrest, doubt starts to creep in. What if we're wrong? What if this is just another dead end? The weight of 5 decades of failure presses down on me, threatening to crush my resolve. But then I think of the victims, of their families who have waited so long for justice. I think of all the nights I've spent poring over this case, of the toll it's taken on my life. We have to try. We owe it to everyone who has been affected by this monster. The raid on Hansen's house is anticlimactic. He doesn't resist, doesn't try to run. He's an old man now, frail and grey. As we lead him out in handcuffs, I search his face for any sign of the killer I've been chasing for so long. His eyes meet mine, and for a moment, I see it a flicker of the cold, calculating intelligence that has eluded us for decades. In the interrogation room, Hansen is calm, almost serene. He doesn't ask for a lawyer, doesn't protest his innocence. He just sits there, watching us with those eerily intelligent eyes. Why now, I ask him. Why confess after all these years? He smiles, a small, secret smile that sends chills down my spine. Because the game was getting boring, detective. I needed a new challenge. As he talks, laying out the details of his crimes with cold precision, I feel a mix of triumph and horror. We've caught him, yes, but at what cost? How many lives were destroyed while we chased our tails? The confession goes on for hours. Hansen seems to relish the attention, filling in the blanks of a mystery that has puzzled the world for half a century. He confirms some of our theories, debunks others, and reveals new horrors we never even suspected. Through it all, the ticking in my head continues. Tick, tock, tick, tock. But now it's not just the clock I'm hearing. It's the sound of justice, slowly but inexorably grinding forward. As dawn breaks, Hansen finally falls silent. He looks tired now, his age showing in the slump of his shoulders. But there's still that glint in his eye, that hint of pride in his work. Was it worth it? I ask him as we conclude the interview. All the lives you destroyed, all the pain you caused. Was your game worth it? He looks at me for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Then he smiles again, that same chilling smile. Ask yourself the same question, detective. Was your obsession worth it? His words hit me like a physical blow. As we lead him away to be processed, I can't shake the feeling that in some twisted way, he's right. I've sacrificed so much for this case, my personal life, my health, maybe even my sanity. Was it worth it? In the days that follow, as the news of Hansen's arrest spreads, I struggle with this question. The families of the victims thank us, tears in their eyes as they finally get the closure they've been seeking for so long. My colleagues congratulate me, hailing me as a hero. But I don't feel like a hero. I feel empty. The ticking that has been my constant companion for years has finally stopped. The silence should be a relief, but instead, it's deafening. I find myself at loose ends, unsure of what to do with myself now that the case that has defined my life is closed. It's Jim who finally helps me find my footing again. You did good, Mara, he tells me one night as we're packing up the Zodiac files. You brought a killer to justice and gave peace to a lot of people. That's worth something. I nod, grateful for his words even if I'm not sure I believe them yet. As I pick up the last box of files, something falls out, an old photograph of the first task force assigned to the Zodiac case. Young, determined faces stare back at me, full of the hope and determination that I've carried for all these years. And suddenly, I understand. It was worth it. Not just for me, but for all of us who never gave up, who kept pushing forward even when the trail went cold. We owed it to the victims, to their families, to never stop seeking the truth. As I leave the office that night, I pause in the doorway, looking back at the empty evidence board that has been the center of my world for so long. The ticking starts up again in my head, but it's different now. It's not the sound of a predator counting down to his next kill, or of a detective racing against time. It's the sound of justice, of closure, of a new chapter beginning. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The Zodiac's game is over. But for me, for all of us who seek justice, the work goes on. There will always be other cases, other killers to catch, and we'll be ready, listening for that telltale ticking that means the hunt is on once again. As I step out into the cool night air, I smile for the first time in what feels like years. The weight of the Zodiac case lifts from my shoulders, replaced by a sense of purpose. Tomorrow is a new day with new challenges to face, and I'm ready for them. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The game goes on, but this time we're the ones making the rules. But as I drive home, a nagging thought creeps into my mind. What if Hansen wasn't working alone? What if there's more to this case than we've uncovered? The ticking in my head grows louder, more insistent. I grip the steering wheel tighter, my mind already racing with possibilities. Maybe this isn't the end after all. Maybe it's just the beginning of a whole new mystery. And despite everything, despite the toll this case has taken on me, I feel a familiar thrill of excitement. The game, it seems, is far from over. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The hunt continues, and I'm ready for whatever comes next.